Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros, at your service. Today I will be reading the November 23rd Facebook post and making a few comments on it, and I trust it will assist both of us on our journeys. If it is helpful to you and you're watching through Facebook, please be so kind as to give it a thumbs up here, or on YouTube, thumbs up down here. Thank you for that. It helps with the listening process. Here we go. Judgment and resolution. When upset, the ego would, 1, have you blame others for your reactions, thus taking your power away. 2, it would have you judge yourself for judging others, thus making you feel bad. 3, it would have you carry your judgment of yourself and others with you for as long as possible. This keeps your mind focused on the pain instead of the resolution. When upset, try instead to remember the following. 1, that in the moment you were simply being honest with your emotions. That gives you a sense of personal power and responsibility without making you feel wrong. 2, recall that when we are all one, thus others are simply a reflection of our internal condition. This brings a sense of gratitude to you that your sisters and brothers are gifting you the opportunity through their participation in your life to see what thoughts you're holding and supporting within as real. And 3, forgive yourself and others, knowing that you simply acted in that moment with the best knowledge and tools you had available to you, and so too the day. Now, thanks to your experience, you both now have better tools and understanding, so that when the same type of situation occurs, you can now deal with it in a more productive and loving manner. Okay, let us take a look at judgment in 2 ways, through the ego and through our highest self, let's call it. How would the ego make us deal with judgment? Or how has the ego programmed us to deal with judgment? First, let's remember that the ego's main fuel source is judgment. And it does this by making us believe that we're separate from our brothers and sisters. So it has us focus on the body. Your body's over here, my body's over here, therefore we're separate. And if we're separate, then I can attack you with my words, thoughts, emotions, and that will not hurt me because all this stuff is going to you and we're separate. So I can judge you, feel safe, and at the same time I'm feeling the ego. Now, the ego does this obviously to support its thought system, because when you judge, you align with the ego gets to survive through you, and the ego lives happily ever after, and it's a one fairy tale, dragging you along with it. But we have played that game often enough. And so we're starting to see that the base for the ego's thought process, that we're separate, is not true. Because we're starting to see, because we've used judgment and anger and resentment over and over towards quote-unquote another being, but for some reason every time we're judgmental or angry or resentful towards them, that affects us. And so if what we are doing to them is affecting us, then there's no way that we can be separate from each other. And so your higher self sees this. It sees your sameness, not your separation. It sees your soul, not your body. And so whenever you're seeing bodies, you're reacting through the ego. Whenever you're choosing to see the sameness in us all, the oneness in us all, you're reacting through your higher self. And so let us pay attention and not judge ourselves for judging others, because the ego will love us to judge ourselves for being in judgment of others, because that again fuels its thought system. And so we're not going to punish ourselves by judging ourselves for judging others today. Instead, we're going to use this as a trigger, because we're going to remember that we are all one, that there's a sameness within us all, and that sameness is the love that created us. And this love that created us, God's source, is all, and therefore the only thing real within us is this love. And so when we are out of alignment with this love, this will trigger in us today that we're buying into the ego's thought system of judgment, and that we're supporting the ego's thought system of judgment as real. And the more we support it, the more intertwined the ego gets with us, the more real we believe it is, the more we support its thought system over and over. And it's just a spiral downwards. But we're not going to judge ourselves for the spiral downwards, because sometimes, we have to hit bottom. And we have to use anger over and over again, judgment over and over again, to start to realize that, anger, judgment, resentment, they don't feel right when I use them. There's something off with those emotions and feelings when I'm using them, because they don't feel like the truth in me. And so when you start to question the ego and its thought system, that's when the ego's thought system begins to slowly dissolve. Because you start to look for another way, a better way, a more self-loving way, a more natural way. The ego has taught you that this is natural. This is not natural. This is just our programmed self. We have been programmed through the ego, through our family, friends, peer society, etc., throughout our lifetime. And so this is not really normal. I mean, it's normal in the fairy tale, okay? It's normal in the illusion, but it's not normal in truth. Judgment does not exist within truth, because only love is true in truth. And so everything apart from love is an illusion. And so this whole system, this whole fairy tale that the ego has invented, not real. But many times we have to go through that process, buying into the ego's idea of judgment, buying into its idea of anger and resentment and jealousy and hatred and revenge, until we start to see, whoa, this is just not me, man. I just do not belong in this thought system. There has to be a better way to deal with these situations. And you start to see that, every time I judge my brother or I become angry at my brother, I hurt myself. It's me who ends up thinking about it all day long. It's me who ends up tossing and turning at night because I judge my brother as guilty. So, is there a better way? How can I practice aligning with my true nature, with the love that I am? And so let us practice that today. Practice seeing first the sameness in us all. Whenever the ego comes knocking, and it will, because we've been programmed through life to use it, so it usually is our first response. That's okay, no big deal. But we're going to realize that judgment, anger, resentment, jealousy, hatred, revenge, all those things are not real. But all those things can help trigger in us the understanding that we're buying into the illusion as real. And so when these things happen, we're not going to judge ourselves for judging them or using these tools of the ego. We're simply going to use them as triggers to bring us back and see our brothers as God would see them. Because we don't really know at least I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch tomorrow or dinner tomorrow, let alone what's in the best interest of the whole universe. And so instead of judging our brothers and sisters as the ego would have us do, we're going to take and align with God and say to yourself, my brothers and sisters are God's creation, as I am God's creation. I'm going to trust today that my brothers and sisters have co-created their journey with God, as I have myself too. When I trust that they have co-created their journeys with God, then my need to judge their journeys is reduced. Because I don't know what I'm having for lunch or dinner tomorrow, let alone what's in the best interest of them and all those people around them and all the situations around them, I have no idea. So why buy into the idea of judgment? Why just fuel the ego just for the ego's sake? We have tried that over and over again. And so we're simply going to trust. When judgment comes into our minds, slow down time, remember what you're doing, remember that that's not really you, and choose to trust in God. Say to yourself, right now, I'm going to trust God that my brother and sister's journey is perfect, no matter how the ego has taught me to look at these journeys. Because I know that the ego has programmed me in a very narrow way. So anything apart from this narrow way, it has me judge. And it tells me that I'm just defending myself. I'm just defending my belief system. But you see, any belief system that you're defending is not really real. Because there's no judgment in reality. So there's nothing to really judge. There's nothing you can really judge, apart from the fairy tale, apart from the ego's illusion, apart from what you think the illusionary journey of everybody else is. Their journey is sacred. Your journey is sacred. Trust this and be at peace. Because guess what? What the ego is doing is saying, okay, judge them. What happens when you do? You feel that within you, even though the ego doesn't tell you, and you lose your peace of mind. So what the ego is saying to you is that you're not worthy of peace. So whenever you're using the ego's judgments, the way the ego likes you to use the judgment, its judgments, you're saying to yourself, I'm not worthy of peace. I'm choosing to value judgment more than forgiveness. I'm choosing to value hatred and revenge more than peace of mind and joy. So therefore, I'm not worthy of peace of mind and joy, forgiveness. Because my brother and I are one. So whatever I believe they're worthy of, unconsciously, it's what I believe that I'm worthy of. So if I believe that I'm judging, that they're worthy of judgment, anger, resentment, jealousy, then deep down inside, I'm going to believe that everybody around me is doing the same to me. But if I know that everybody's journey is sacred, if I know that there's no way I can judge I don't need judgment to view my brothers and sisters, because I remember that judgment is not real, only love is real, then I know that everybody around me can only in truth love me. Yes, in the illusion, they can judge me, but only if I believe the illusion is real can this illusion affect me. If I know that these illusions are not real, they dissolve. If I know that my brother's anger, hatred, revenge, and anything apart from love is coming towards me, but I know that's not real, it doesn't affect me. Because I know that only the love in them is real. And so they can, in truth, only love me. And the more I practice remembering this, the stronger this truth becomes. And the more aligned I am with God's source. And the more I strengthen this alignment, the more steady I become during my day. And the more peace I have during the day and at night. And then when you start to live in a state of peace constantly, what can your response be but gratitude to God? And not only gratitude to God, but gratitude to each and every one of your brothers and sisters, because you had to go through this little process, through this negative spiral, to finally come to this place in time. You had to go through this negative spiral to realize that this is not true, but this is simply an illusion that you have been buying into as true. And when you got sick and tired of this illusion, you let it go. You released it. It was no more. And so what once affected you so much is released. It's gone. But you see, every day we're giving that opportunity to practice this. To practice letting go of the illusion and aligning with our natural state. Love, compassion, peace, forgiveness, joy, understanding. so we thank our brothers and sisters for giving us the opportunities to practice aligning with our true nature. And so there's no more need to judge them. Because anytime the ego comes in, knocks on your door, and says, hey, judge them, you remember, whoa, I'm not judgment. I have no need for judgment. In fact, I'll thank them. Because by realizing that I'm not the ego's judgment, I realize that I cannot be judged. And that I only remain in a state of peace and live in a state of peace by my free will, by my choice to see the sameness in my brother and sister instead of the separateness. To view my brother and sister as perfect souls, as perfect creations of God's source, instead of what the ego would say, as separate bodies. The sameness in our souls or the separateness in our bodies. God or the ego. Free will in every moment. That's the choice. To view the world through the ego's eyes, or to align with God and view the world through God's eyes, through love's eyes, through forgiveness' eyes. And so let us do that today. And simply be grateful. Let us be grateful. Anytime the ego calls for judgment, no, let us be grateful. Because our brothers and sisters are giving us an opportunity to practice remembering who in truth we are. And so thank them for that. The more gratitude you offer, the more peace you have. The more peace you have, the more grateful you are. And this is available to us in every single moment. Heaven is available to us right now. And if we skip heaven right now, guess what? In the next moment, through free will, heaven is available to us then. Every moment, heaven is available to us. Every moment we could see the sameness in each other instead of the ego's fairy tale of separateness. So let us simply look at judgment in that way today. And remember that we have two ways to look at judgment. One way makes it real. One way makes us lose our peace of mind. And one way, we trust in God's plan. And we know that God's plan and our highest will plan are one. And we have peace. When we do this, when we're going through the ego, we're telling ourselves we're not worthy of peace. When we're aligning with God's source, what we're telling ourselves is that we are worthy of peace. Because we're God's creation. And when we remember that we are worthy of peace, because we are all one, every single brother and sister, every single enemy, every single person you have something against, you remember that they too are just love. That they too are simply helping you remember who you truly are. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I love you very much. If you'd be so kind as to like, share, or comment, it would help with the listening process and it might help somebody find this video someday. If you'd like to leave me a comment or a question, I would be delighted to try and offer a response. And if you can please subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would love to have you in that community. Again, thank you so much for your time. You know I love you very, very much. And God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.